Emily's voice on the phone was sharp. Emily. Mom, who is this Jack everyone in town is talking about? Grace nearly dropped the coffee pot. It was Tuesday morning. She had just finished her third shift at the cafe. Her feet were tired. Her heart was light. And then her phone rang. Grace stammered. Grace. What? Who on earth told you? Emily. Mrs. Patterson's daughter works with someone whose cousin lives in Willow Creek. Apparently the whole town is buzzing about you and some guy named Jack walking around together like teenagers. Grace closed her eyes. Small towns. 6 degrees of separation was more like 2. Grace. Emily, it is not what you think. Emily. Then what is it? Because from what I am hearing, you have been spending a lot of time with someone you have not mentioned once. Grace. He is just an old friend. High school. We reconnected, that is all. Silence. Then Emily spoke again. Emily. Mom. Grace. What? Emily. I can hear it in your voice. This is not just an old friend. Grace sat down heavily on one of the cafe chairs. Sarah looked over from the counter, eyebrows raised. Grace waved her off. She sighed. Grace, his name is Jack Thornton. We dated in high school, a long time ago. Emily. And now? Grace. And now I do not know. We have been talking, walking, getting to know each other again. Emily's voice sharpened. Emily. Mom, you just got divorced. It has been, 5 years? And you are already. Grace cut her off. Grace. I am not anything yet. We are taking it slow. Really slow. Emily pushed back. Emily, this is exactly what I was worried about. You are vulnerable right now. You are in a new place. And some guy from your past shows up and suddenly you are. Grace. Emily, stop. The firmness in her voice surprised them both. Grace. I appreciate that you are worried. I do. But I am not a kid, Emily. I am 52. I have earned the right to make my own choices. Emily went quiet. Emily. I know. Grace. You just want to protect me. I understand. But you cannot protect me from living. Silence on the line. Emily spoke finally. Emily, I am coming to visit. Grace. What? Emily, this weekend, I want to see this town, this cafe, this Jack. I want to see it all for myself. Grace felt her stomach tighten. Grace. Emily, you do not have to. Emily. I am coming, Mom. Friday night. I will drive down after work. There was no arguing with that tone. Grace had used it herself when Emily was a teenager. She said, resigned. Grace. All right. I will get the guest room ready. Emily. And Mom. Grace. Yes. Emily. I love you. Even when I am being overprotective. Grace softened. Grace. I love you too. Even when you are being impossible. The line went dead. Grace sat there, phone in hand, heart racing. Her daughter was coming. To inspect her life. To meet Jack. To judge everything she had built in the past few weeks. She muttered to herself. Grace. Well, this ought to be interesting. Warning Jack. Grace found Jack that afternoon in his workshop at the edge of town. The building was old, weathered wood and dusty windows, but inside it smelled of cedar and varnish and something unmistakably him. He was bent over a workbench, sanding a piece of oak when she knocked on the open door. Jack looked up and smiled. Jack. Grace. Well, this is a nice surprise. Grace. I need to talk to you. His smile faded when he saw her expression. He set down the sandpaper. Jack. What is wrong? Grace. My daughter is coming. This weekend. She heard about us. The town gossip traveled all the way to Chicago. Jack nodded slowly. Jack. Grace. She is not happy, Jack. She thinks I am being reckless, that I am rushing into something. Jack. Are you? Grace let out a frustrated breath. Grace. I do not know. Maybe. It does not feel reckless when I am with you. But when Emily says it, she trailed off, looking around the workshop. Half-finished furniture lined the walls. A rocking chair, a bookshelf, a small table with delicate carved legs. Beautiful things, made with patience and care. Jack spoke gently. Jack. Grace, look at me. She turned. He had moved closer, but not too close, always respecting the space she needed. Jack. Your daughter loves you. She is worried. That is natural. Grace. I know, but... Jack. Hold on. Let me finish. If she needs to meet me, to ask me questions, to decide whether I am worth her mother's time, then I will be there. I have got nothing to hide. Grace. It is not that simple. She can be. A lot. Jack gave a small smile. Jack. Apple does not fall far from the tree. Grace was not amused. Grace. Jack. Jack. I am serious. Let her come. Let her see the town. Let her see us, whatever we are. If she still has concerns after that, we will deal with it. Grace shook her head. Grace. You make it sound way too easy. Jack. It is not easy. Nothing worth having ever is. He reached out and took her hand. Gently. The way he always did. Jack. Grace. I have waited 30 years. I can handle one weekend with your daughter. She looked down at their hands. His, rough from years of woodwork. Hers, softer, but no less worn by time. Grace. Jack, I am terrified. Not of you. Of hoping again. Hope broke me once. I do not know if I can survive it breaking me twice. He was quiet for a moment. Jack. I cannot promise you it will not hurt. Life hurts sometimes, but I can promise you this. I am not going anywhere. Not unless you tell me to. Grace's voice wavered. Grace. Why? Why are you so patient with me? Jack. Because you are worth waiting for. You always have been. Grace felt tears threatening. She blinked them back. Grace. I should go. I need to clean the house, prep the guest room, figure out what I am cooking. Jack gently released her hand. Jack. Let me know if you need anything. I mean it, even if it is just someone to talk to. Grace. Thank you, Jack. She turned to leave, then stopped at the door. Grace. For what it is worth, I am really glad you are here. In my life, I mean. It is confusing and scary, and I do not know what I am doing. But I am glad. Jack said softly. Jack. So am I. She walked out into the afternoon sun, heart heavy and hopeful in equal measure. Preparing for Emily. The next 2 days passed in a blur. Grace cleaned every room, washed sheets that had been washed the week before, dusted corners that did not need dusting. Nervous energy, the kind only a mom waiting on her daughter's judgment could understand. On Thursday evening, she stood in the kitchen, staring at her mother's recipe box. Faded index cards with handwritten instructions, casseroles, pies, Sunday roasts, a lifetime of meals in neat, slanted script. She pulled out one card. Meatloaf, her mother's specialty. Emily's favorite as a child. Grace read the card aloud. Grace. Last time I made this, Thanksgiving '82. Emily was 3. She ate 2 helpings and fell asleep at the table. She smiled at the memory. Her mother had been there. Richard had been there. The house in the suburbs had been full of noise and warmth. A different life. A different Grace. Now she was here, in her mother's kitchen, cooking her mother's recipe, waiting for her daughter to come and question everything she had become. She started cooking. The familiar motions calmed her. Chopping onions, mixing meat, shaping the loaf with her hands. Her phone buzzed. A message from Sarah. Sarah, how are you holding up? Need wine? I have wine. Grace laughed and typed back. Grace, I might need a whole vineyard, Sarah replied. Sarah, that can be arranged. Hang in there. Emily will see what I see. A woman finally living her life. Grace set the phone down and slid the meatloaf into the oven. Through the window, she could see the sun setting. Another evening in Willow Creek. Another day closer to Friday. She walked to the porch. The town was quiet, peaceful, unaware of the storm brewing in her heart. Grace spoke to the evening sky. Grace, please let this go well. Please let her understand. The stars began to appear, one by one. Silent witnesses to all her hopes and fears. Down the hill, a familiar truck drove slowly past. Jack, heading home. He did not stop, did not wave, just drove by, giving her space, respecting her process. Grace watched the taillights disappear and felt something settle in her chest. Whatever happened with Emily, whatever questions she faced, she was not alone anymore. She had Sarah. She had Jack. She had this house and this town, and a future she was slowly learning to believe in. Grace said softly. Grace. All right, Mom. Wish me luck. The wind stirred the leaves. The meatloaf filled the house with warmth. The evening wrapped around her like a gentle embrace. And Grace Miller waited for her daughter to come home.